Good afternoon. My name is Michelle Tavener. I'm the Director of Artistic Programming and Education here at the McConnell Arts Center. How many of you are here for the first time? Anyone? No? Well, welcome back. Make sure that you take a brochure if you don't have one already when you are leaving. Housekeeping items, we have restrooms at the end of the hallway. And today our presenter will not be taking a break. We're going to run straight through. Thank you to Worthington Spotlight, who's our sponsor for this series. And this event is streaming for those who can't attend in person. So would you be so kind as to make sure that your phones are silenced at this time? We have many exciting upcoming events here at the MAC. We currently have the Ohio Governor's Youth Art Exhibition for Region 1. And these works are by high school students, and they're on view on all 3 levels of the building, so please take the time to explore these young emerging artists. This Friday evening at 7 p.m., we will be screening the documentary Holy Frit, and we will have our friends from Columbus Glass Art Center on hand to share some examples of what frit is. I didn't know until I watched the documentary myself, and show you some stained glass demonstration. And lastly, we have a survey that is within your program. If you would be so kind as to complete the survey and drop that off in the basket outside of the theater on your way out. We are tracking those. It really does help us with our grant writing to continue to provide programs such as this. So, Renee Stein is currently the Director of Business Planning and Optimization at I Am Boundless. With a proven track record of driving sustainable growth and innovation, she brings over a decade of experience in community engagement, strategy, and partnership development. Renee has dedicated her career to forging strong, meaningful connections between organizations and the communities they serve. In her role, Renee leads a team responsible for developing and implementing outreach strategies that enhance community involvement and support. Her expertise in stakeholder engagement, promotion, and consultation has been pivotal in expanding the nonprofit organization's reach and impact. She is passionate about leveraging technology and analytics to solve complex business challenges and is committed to fostering a culture of continuous improvement and excellence. Outside of work, Renee enjoys mentoring young professionals, participating in industry conferences, and volunteering with local nonprofits. Her dedication to both her professional and personal endeavors exemplifies her belief in the power of strategic planning and optimization to create lasting, positive impact for those of all abilities. Please welcome Renee Stein.
Good afternoon. Thank you all for joining me this afternoon. For those of you who are in-house, has anybody heard of Boundless before? I Am Boundless? I got one. All right. Well, welcome. I look forward to teaching you a little bit more and introducing all of you to the work of I Am Boundless. One thing you might notice right away is that I have a new title since my bio was submitted. So this year my title is Senior Director of Marcom and Business Development. And for any of you that have ever worked in a nonprofit setting, you might know that you wear a lot of hats. So my title's a little bit longer this year as I'm over marketing, communications, outreach, and business development. So I can answer lots of different questions. So to get us started off, I Am Boundless is Ohio's largest not-for-profit provider for services for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities and or behavioral health challenges. We do everything from residential supports, job training, counseling, and autism services. And we proudly offer person-centered care that celebrates each individual and encourages them to become active participants in the communities where they live, work, and play. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the Boundless families of companies. We are actually very close to the Boundless headquarters. Over off of Proprietor Road is our main Worthington campus. kind of where Boundless got its start. And as you can see from the list on the screen, we've really grown to offer more and more services to the people that we support. Our person-centered services is not just a moniker. We do look at every individual as just that, an individual. We try and offer them what they need to be most successful, and sometimes it's for their entire life. We may treat someone at the age of 3 all the way until their 80s. So this family of companies that we have developed over our almost 40 years in different types of businesses are all based on what our individuals need. So our range of services, and we're going to go into all of these before, are everything from screening, assessment, diagnosis, all the way to mental, physical, and dental care, and everything in between. So as I mentioned in the beginning, Boundless is one of the largest nonprofit provider of IDD and behavioral health services. We are throughout the state of Ohio. We have different centers. We have one here in Worthington, which I mentioned, which is our headquarters. We also have a center in West Carrollton, Ohio, which is by Dayton, for those of you who are familiar with that area. We have a center in Medina, Ohio. We are opening up a new center in Independence on Thursday, so we will have another location there. And we also have a location in Perrysburg. In a lot of the counties throughout the state of Ohio, we will also offer in-home services as well. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about the different programs that are available. Under the I Am Boundless umbrella, we have residential services. We do supported living, multi-system youth. We have a parent-directed program, an intermediate care facilities for those with intellectual and developmental disabilities. We also have Boundless Health, which is one of our offerings that is open to absolutely everyone. Boundless Health services include an outpatient behavioral health clinic, telepsychiatry, we do assessments, counseling, care coordination, speech therapy, primary care, and dental. Under our Boundless Community Pathways, we have day programs that are site-based. We have vocabilitation. We have offer pets and people. We have employment services, and we have a Without Walls program. Some of the services that are based in some of our regions include day treatments, peer mentoring, crisis care, respite, center-based autism programs, our wellness clinic, and our community therapy. So now that I've talked a little bit about the programs, I'm going to actually go into each of the regions. And if any of you want to know anything more, if you need me to slow down, feel free to raise a hand, let me know. I'm happy to stop and talk a little bit more about anything that interests you. So our programs at our Worthington Center. Our Worthington Center, as I mentioned, is off, not very far from here, off of Proprietors Road. It's about 45 acres, and it's the home to our new inclusive healthcare facility. As I mentioned, all of our programs are centered-based, and we build the programs to meet the unique needs of our constituents and utilizing local resources. On our Worthington campus, we have all of those different programs, so I'm going to kind of do a deep dive of each of them as we go through. So one of the most popular programs on our Worthington campus is our center-based programs for youth. These programs are full day and after school. They're based on a blend of services whose core team for each individual consists of a behavior analyst, an intervention specialist, and a speech language pathologist. This provides a unique integrated approach to meet our students' needs and for their individual education and behavioral health needs. We focus on increasing communication, coping strategies, education, and identifying the students' needs and building upon the strengths they have. Our goal is to work with the local school districts. Local school districts will refer students to us. And it's our joy to work with those students to get them back to the level that they can return to their community school. Boundless is committed to working with school districts to ensure that each child has the opportunity to be in their home district. Our staff are specially trained. They're all trauma-informed, trained, including me. Anyone that works at Boundless is trauma-informed trained. We utilize platforms like UCURE, Ageas, and other professional crisis management strategies. Our center-based programs will also provide consulting and parent training to school districts to help students then return to their home district. And the funding for these programs for us typically come from school contract through Medicaid and the Autism Scholarship. So let me talk a little bit more about successful transitions. As I said, Boundless is not looking to take over a community school. Our goal is to get every individual to the point that they can participate in their school. A comprehensive approach is what we utilize to determine the support that each individual with autism or a co-occurring intellectual and developmental disability needs. Our BEST program provides intensive care through the critical period of transition from youth into young adulthood. The BEST program is specifically for autism or co-occurring intellectual and developmental disability and mental health needs. This program is funded by Medicaid, Medicaid managed care, or self-pay. Now, I can speak personally about our BUS program. I have a son who is now 23 years old, and once my son turned 22 and was done with school, I noticed he was a little apprehensive, kind of couldn't picture what his life is going to look like after he was done with school. Once we got him enrolled in the BEST program, all of the treatment coordinators got with him and tried to understand what he would like to see after school. Really worked with him to understand what his needs were. Did he want to take a college class? Did he want to go to a day program? The BEST program helped him apply for a job, and now he works part-time. The BEST program is also working with him to improve his social skills. So this transition from youth to adult is difficult for anyone, let alone somebody with a diagnosis. So the BEST program, not to play favorites, but the BEST program is one of my favorite programs that Boundless offers. I mentioned day treatment. So as individuals age out of school, they may not be ready for work. They may not be ready to go to college. So our day treatment gives them a little bit of each. So our day program improves behavioral health in group counseling and activities to help individuals develop their social, independent living skills, problem-solving skills, and coping skills to aid them in emotional regulation. We offer half day and full day. This is located at our Chekrin office, which is also not too far from here. The day treatment is open to anyone from 18 to 29, and these are built on small group ratios of 1 to 4 or 2 to 8. So these programs, again, will work with an individual. Maybe our high school graduate isn't ready to take a college course, but that's their goal. But they need to know how to come into a classroom, how to sit and take notes with the other students. These are things that the day treatment can work with them on. They can also work with them on doing their own laundry, food preparation, going to the grocery store. So all of those life skills, or adulting, I think it's called now, all of those adulting skills, our teams can help students get ready for those and manage expectations and make sure that they're able to reach the goals that they've outlined. Another wonderful program that Boundless uses as students transition out of school age is peer mentoring services. This is another fantastic service. So peer mentors empower program participants to reach their potential by connecting them to community services and providing a one-on-one mentor. Each student is matched with someone within their age group, and these individuals will work with them to take them out in the community, do anything they want, grocery shopping, go-kart racing, really works with them to develop the social skills, money management skills, all of those things that individuals need to be out in the community. We provide natural support in the community and connect individuals to meaningful relationships. I heard a great story from our peer mentoring program. We had a young man, his one goal was he wanted to eat lunch at Bob Evans and have a crew of people that he knew at Bob Evans that he could go have lunch with once a week. So the peer mentor started taking him to Bob Evans, worked with him to start conversations with people that he was seeing there, worked with him on how to talk to the waitress, worked with him how to talk to the people on the other booth, really develop different relationships. So after about 6 months, this individual had 2 friends that he would consistently take his peer mentor to meet at Bob Evans. So now there's a table of 4 for them instead of the 1. So needless to say, it was a very small goal, but for this young man, that's really what he wanted, and he's absolutely thrilled. He's got a little lunch bunch that he meets every other week, and he goes to Bob Evans. So he's kind of moving on to his next goal. So sometimes our goals are huge, and sometimes they're little, but the impact of all of them are just absolutely amazing. And there's also a variety of programs that they can help with. So Columbus State has a great program for individuals with special needs to take different college courses. Our teams can help individuals get their application in, find out what's necessary. So again, it's an absolutely wonderful service for those aging out of school-based. Community-based services. I mentioned this a little bit before. Throughout the state, we do provide community-based services. So if you're not located near one of the centers that I mentioned in the beginning, if you are within our range, we can actually come to your home, your school, or literally wherever the individual needs the support. Our community-based services are based upon ABA, but they're not really ABA traditional. The therapy is available to children, adolescents, adults. We can do it in schools. We can support school teachers to help individuals thrive in the classroom, and we can also do it in supported living services, so in their home. Our clinicians offer consultations to increase communication, social, academic, and adaptive skills, and we can also assist with decreasing challenging behaviors, whether it's with an adult, a child, or an adolescent. So a little bit more about our community-based service. The first thing that we do when we're coming into somebody's home is make our plan. We want to understand the goals. We want to understand what the expectations are. After we understand what the parent/guardian and the individual are looking for, we'll collaborate with mental health and our wellness teams to identify individual goals. We partner and collaborate with the counselors and identify what skill development is needed in different environments. So for my example before, the skills that you may need at Bob Evans to have lunch with friends may be very different than the skills you need to apply at Columbus State. Then we target 2 to 4 of the functions of the behavior, which includes things like escape or avoidance, attention seeking, access to tangibles, reinforcement, and instant gratification. So really moving individuals up from having a negative response to a stimuli to move it into a positive response to different stimuli. Some of the other community-based tools or tactics that we use to support our individuals are arts, games, puzzles, games, outdoor adventures. A lot of our treatment, if you didn't know it was actually treatment, probably looks like a really good time from the outside. It looks like individuals are out in the community having lunch, volunteering, walking dogs. All of these different activities are utilized as education for those individuals with a targeted approach to change the challenged behavior. As I mentioned before, clinicians also offer support and training to parents, guardians, and other natural supports. Being a mom of someone with special needs, I can't tell you how valuable it was to get training, to understand what my son was being taught and what coping mechanisms were important or effective for him. Because, you know, they may take him to Bob Evans and be able to require a certain behavior from him. I need to know what those words are and what support he needs so I can offer that to him as well. Having that extra layer of education for natural supports helps our individuals so much because there's that consistency and they master their skills much, much faster. Crisis intervention is also another offering that we have here in Worthington. We have a licensed therapist to answer crisis calls, help the caller to define the crisis, determine the level of risk, and provide support and guidance to manage the crisis. Depending on location, an in-person clinician may be available to go to the caller and provide on-site. And then after engaging in a crisis service, a client will receive follow-up support for 4 to 6 weeks to ensure appropriate services and resources are in place for the client, family, and caregivers. So our crisis intervention was really designed to help families and individuals seek assistance from knowledgeable experts and really not utilize the 911 system. After the pandemic, there was an increase in calls to 911 from those with IDD or behavioral health challenges. We wanted to be there to ensure that we did what we knew what to do before the situation escalated to that level. Our crisis intervention services are typically partnered with the county boards of developmental disabilities and are offered to families that need it. Yes, I'm sorry.
Would you be contacted, say, by the police if they get a 911 call for what they think is a mental health crisis? Would you go with them to that to try and...
So the question was, do we get calls from the police to go with them on a 911 call for a mental health crisis? And I would say not yet. We do work with the Worthington Police quite a bit because they're here in our backyard. So there's a little bit more collaboration there. But as you go out further and further into the counties, it's more, we're hoping to be the first call as opposed to the with them call, if that makes sense. Yes. And one last program I have for those that are coming out of the school aged is the WOW program. It's Without Walls. It's completely community-based, and it takes place in a different location each day. The staff participant ratio is 1 to 4, so we have 1 staff person to every 4. The program meets Monday through Thursday. With the staff, we have community integration specialists, and there's 4 10-hour days per week. Members are allowed to choose a 9 to noon track or an afternoon track of 2 to 5. Members attend activities with the same members and leaders each day. The groups may meet up regularly and expand the exposure to peers outside of their own group. Members are offered a specific group based upon a discovery-based approach at intake. So we do ask a lot of questions when you come to Boundless, and we have the opportunity to serve you. We really do want to know you as a person. So for the WOW program, there's a lot of questions asked. We find out a lot of people like dogs. A lot of people like to go out to eat. So those are some of our most popular WOW programs. But we have a lot of different interests, and we try and group individuals based upon interests. There is a WOW group that specifically does things with dogs all the time. They will walk them. They will volunteer at shelters, and those individuals love it. Then there's a group that they just want to go places. They try a different restaurant every day, and that's all they want. So the WOW program is really great because everybody gets to contribute. You're in that consistent group setting, helping you build those social bonds. And then you get out in the community. So if you're at the zoo every Thursday, you're probably going to meet some people and be able to talk to them. So it's a really great group. Again, for those who are kind of transitioning away from that high school and really want to get out in their community and meet more folks and basically have a good time. Last but not least, while we're talking about the center here in Worthington, I want to talk about Boundless Health. Boundless Health is one of our newer ventures. It's been open a little over 3 years now. It is right here on the Worthington campus. We have providers that know IDD but treat the person. Our campus over here, as I mentioned, is beautiful. It's 40 acres in the middle of Worthington. Very lucky to work there. And the health center is inclusive for all ages and family members. I mentioned before, I'm a mom of a child with special needs, and I had one child that did not. So I can tell you, back in the day, I ran a lot of different places. My daughter had one dentist, my son had another one. My son had different appointments than my daughter did. So something like Boundless Health, if it would have come around 15 years ago, I absolutely would have loved it. This is a fully inclusive health center that is open to absolutely anyone. We have behavioral health, primary care, dentistry, all in one building, very, very convenient parking. We accept most private insurance, Medicaid, Medicare, and we have a sliding scale for those who are not insured. I'm gonna try and play real quick. Just a little. So if you ever have the opportunity to go down there and check it out, I absolutely recommend it. It's a beautiful new building that we converted on our campus. It's absolutely state-of-the-art and beautiful. Oh, you didn't? You just heard, well, that didn't work out very well, did it? Yes. I'm not quite sure how to do that. All right. All right, I'm going to keep going. I'm not sure why I didn't play it. Move on to the next slide. Get this fixed for dental. So let me talk a little bit about Boundless Health and why it's different than any other clinic that you walk into or any other primary care and dental provider. When we built the health center, the care for those with IDD and behavioral health challenges was in the forefront of our mind, but we knew we did not want to build another center just for people with IDD and behavioral health challenges. We wanted this community-based. We wanted it integrated care. We want anyone who wanted a good primary care and dental provider to be able to come into our center. So if you visit our center, it's a beautiful facility. It looks like a house. I think at one point it was a house, and we intentionally kept that open air feeling. We have lots of windows there that you can see the natural beauty around us. We really tried to take that clinical feel out of the doctor visit. A lot of the individuals we served have had medical trauma. Whether it was intentional or not, they did not understand the medical treatment that they were providing. So seeing white coats, seeing those medical buildings, even before getting out of the car, is sometimes triggering. We tried to make our center look less intimidating, less medical. It doesn't look like it, but everything is built in. We have larger than usual exam rooms, and we have sliding doors and adjustable lighting. That may not seem like a very big deal to any of us who've been sit in a tiny little room waiting for your doctor in your little, paper gown. But to our individuals, having a door that's easy to open and you don't feel as closed in was very, very important. We also needed larger rooms and larger doorways because a lot of the people that we serve are in wheelchairs. So we wanted to make sure that the individuals and any accompanying family members or providers could easily come in and out of the room. We wanted everything to feel inviting and intentional. Our parking lot is steps away from the facility, no following a red line or a blue line to get back to your car. Everything is very, very easy for people to get in and out. We have a private waiting room for those that need space, because even though we try not to make it look like a doctor's appointment, sometimes they're on to us and they may need a moment to decompress before they go back and see our providers. We have comfortable patient consultation rooms. So like I mentioned, sitting there in your little paper gown, having the doctor talk to you, it's not usually the best for any of us. So we've made it a point that the exam room is in one place and the doctor can then take you to a consultation room to help lower that stress again. And we also have lifts for assistance for those people who are in wheelchairs to get into the dental chair if you cannot be treated from your dental chair. So we really built in very intentional amenities for those that we serve, but anybody can use them. I would love to not sit in a paper gown and have my doctor talk to me, be able to go to a consultation room. So that is something that we offer to everyone. We really tried to be thoughtful with our care. So as I mentioned, it's inclusive care for all ages. So this is a family practice. There is no aging limitations, there's no aging out, and no need to change doctors. We just sponsored a swim event in Westerville yesterday, and I saw a family that I did a tour when our dental clinic was opening up. Mom, she has 6 kids. One of her daughters in a wheelchair. And 2 of her children are very, very young. She's like, thank you for the tour. She's like, we all just came in and got our teeth cleaned in one felt swoop. She's like, it was fantastic. Everybody was able to get this done, get in, get out. So really, really touched my heart because that was the intention for everyone. We don't want to make this any harder for any of you. We have a heightened level of care for those with special needs. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about the things that we do with the dental program, but we really do make an effort to tailor to everyone's visit to make sure that everyone is as comfortable as possible. We have medical directors overseeing all levels of care. So we have a medical and a dental director. We have interpreter services that are offered. So if English is not the first language, we try to overcome that barrier to make everyone feel comfortable as well. We have continuity of care and services. So you can see your primary care doctor and your dentist at the same time. And if your primary care doctor is putting you on some medicine and you forgot the name of it, it's okay. That dentist can go right down the stairs and go ask the primary care. So it really makes for great collaboration between your providers and really gives you that good consistency of care. We also offer patient virtual visit appointments for those times where you can't come in. We also have on-site lab screenings, testing, quick and simple. I don't want to brag, but our nurses are very good getting those shots, immunizations, or blood draws done very, very quickly. So as you can imagine, if somebody has a little bit of medical trauma, having somebody coming at them with a shot is not ideal, but our nurses are fantastic. We partnered with the Autism Society of Central Ohio a couple years ago to do the COVID vaccines for those with special needs, and our nurses were just fantastic. I'll tell a little story. We had this little boy and his sister come in, and he was so upset and screaming so loudly when he went back in the room, and you could just hear him, and your heart's breaking for this little guy, you know, getting his COVID shot. He's just screaming and screaming. Then all of a sudden you hear, "What? You mean you did it already?" It was the funniest thing. So, you know, she was able to give him that shot while he was completely having his meltdown. Got it done. Mom was so thrilled. So just a little brag there about our nursing staff that does an excellent job there. We also have the ability to schedule appointments within 48 hours of the call, even if it's not a sick appointment. And we have a pharmacy on site as well that you can utilize to ensure quality of care and convenience. We also have integrated and coordinated care, extended initial visits. So most of the time when you go into your doctor, you may get a half hour if it's a traditional doctor. Our first appointments are always booked for 45 minutes. That gives you or whomever is with you the time to talk to our doctors. And if somebody's having a bad day and somebody's having a meltdown and won't let you see inside his mouth or in his ear, that's okay. We can take a few minutes, give them time to decompress. Those 45-minute appointments are available to everyone. My family all uses the clinic, and my husband got a 45-minute first appointment as well. And he's like, I've never had a doctor who actually read through my medical records and had a discussion with me about what has been done in the past. So again, another just kind of difference that you'll feel when you go to Boundless. I spoke about the co-located service, collaboration between your providers, and then there's ongoing interaction and dialogue between the intake department and Boundless Health. So if you do need to come back in, we can try and stack your appointments for you, make it as easy as possible. So now let me talk real quick about our dental care. Dental is our newest offering. We've been open a little bit over a year by now. So our dental care clinic does all the cleanings, all of your basic services for you. We aren't a sedation service. We are a dental clinic that utilizes behavioral techs to help with the visit. So we have personalized care for patients with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Again, our entire facility is sensory friendly. We have trained providers knowledgeable about services and assistive devices. We pride ourselves on our compassionate care with focus on comfort and well-being, and we have a full range of dental services and, again, private treatment rooms. Let me talk a little bit about what we do. Since my videos aren't working, I will do my best to visualize this for you. So when you call to make a dental appointment with Boundless Health, they will ask you several questions. If your loved one or yourself has a diagnosis, they will ask you a lot of questions. You know, what are your expectations? Do you have any fears? Is there anything that we can help work on before you come in? Where this works magically is with the young ones before they've ever been to the dentist and they realize, oh my gosh, somebody's gonna stick sharp metal things in my mouth. So our behavioral analysts and our behavioral techs typically will talk with the family to understand what type of care. We've had situations where we've had young ones come into the dental clinic and go directly to the sensory room, maybe 2 or 3 times before they even come into the dental chair, because we're working over past trauma and we're trying to set a new bar. So our ability to kind of spend that extra time that our traditional dentists don't really allows us to customize the care. And again, going back to that person-centered mantra, understand what they're going to need before they even sit down in the chair. Again, any of these services that you're interested in,
We are always happy to give you a tour, show you what we're doing here in Worthington, but the dental clinic is phenomenal. Here in Columbus, we do have a lot of great dentists. We have the Nysonger program that we partner with, and they actually helped us establish our dental clinic. But what we're doing is really a great innovation. And again, I think something that's going to impact a lot of the young children that are just getting their diagnoses now. It's just a different way to approach dental care, really kind of limiting our need for putting patients under.
We also have traditional and community-based counseling and psychiatry. So once we have our services established for people, they don't need to come into Worthington unless they want to. We can do telehealth visits. We serve patients ages 6 to 70. We can do everything from medication management, comprehensive psychiatric evaluations, follow-up, support, and we have a registered nurse for those that have Medicaid. Couple other programs that we have here. We also have these up north in the Cleveland area, as well as around Medina. We have supported living. So what supported living is a program that supports individuals with IDD and their own homes. It goes beyond the basics of care and really empowers people to be active members in the community. So we're not just going into the homes and helping people clean or helping them meal plan. We really do want to have them reach their highest potential. So if they're able to go out in their community, do yard work, meet their neighbors, attend meetings, that is what we're going to be doing for the people in supported living. Our providers provide everything from companionship. They can be there to take them to church. They can take them wherever they need. And staffing for these is really flexible. Sometimes our staff just comes in a few hours a day because the person is really on their path to independence. Sometimes staff needs to be there 24 hours a day due to medical concerns. So again, a really flexible program designed to meet the needs of the individuals and get them ready for independence. We also have multi-system youth programs. These are for individuals for ages 14 through 21 that are struggling at home and are part of multiple public systems. So typically children's services, DD boards, several different agencies are involved. And keeping the individual in their home is not an option. That's where we turn to multi-system youth. And again, like our center-based program, our goals is to work on whatever problematic behavior there is, redefine coping skills, and reintroduce that individual back into their community. We also have residential respite. So this is either in-home or it's at our different centers. We offer this in West Carrollton. We also have some of that in Medina and Worthington as well. These can be planned or emergency. So a mom that has a son with special needs that can never go to the grocery store because of the behaviors. Our residential respite program allows her to either have someone come in the home or take her son to a center so that she can get that done and come back. So it's a really powerful program that not only helps the individuals that we're serving, but their natural supports to make sure that they're getting the things that they need to be done. Switching gears, talk about our next closest program at Newark. So for those of you who know Central Ohio pretty well, we are currently in what was the Newark Advocate building there off the highway towards Newark. That is where our center is. There we have center-based services, case management, speech therapy, counseling and therapy, Ohio Rise, life skills training, community behavioral services. So CME, I'm going to talk about Ohio Rise program. So Ohio Rise is resilience through integrated systems and excellence.
This was established by Ohio's governor to meet the needs of family that have children going into young adulthood that are being supported by multiple systems. So I mentioned before the DD boards, you know, they also might be part of children's services. So several different agencies are involved. Prior to the governor putting together this program, we had heard a lot of stories where families needed a level of care that just wasn't accessible in Ohio. And so their children were being sent to Indiana or surrounding states to get treatment. So you can imagine what that was doing to the family. So, you know, families were either having to temporarily move. It wasn't right. So the governor actually pulled together this program. So this program utilizes what's called a CME. So it's a care management entity. And so what care management entities do is they work with the families and all of the agencies that are providing the care to ensure that the individual has the programs and supports that they need. So all of the wraparound services to help that individual be successful in their homes or in the current situation that they are living in. So a little bit about the CME. So I Am Boundless is the CME for Delaware, Knox, Licking, and Morrow County. So what we do is any child identifying as qualifying for Ohio Rise, they reach out to us through Aetna, and we work with them and the family. We do intensive care coordination. Care coordination is kind of that, I like to call it the family's chief of staff. So if you can imagine working with several government agencies and all of the forms that are probably needed to get any kind of services for your child, this is what intensive care coordination helps the family with. Really getting in all of those forms, making sure those things are done properly, helps the family identify what they need to keep their individual in their home. CMEs also collaborate with local systems of care to expand resources, improve access to services for families. So Boundless has a large voice in the services in Delaware, Knox, Licking, and Morrow County. We're identifying gaps in care where we're seeing things that the families are asking for, and we're going back to to Aetna and say, you know, we need more community-based providers in Knox. We need this in Licking. We need this in Morrow County to make sure that, again, these families are able to keep their loved ones home and get the treatment that they need. Peer mentoring, I mentioned this as well in Worthington. So peer mentoring, again, is where an individual is matched with someone close to their age. Because I can tell you, I tell my son all kinds of things, and it just, I'm sure, sounds like the Charlie Brown teacher voice at some point. But, you know, his buddy who's 27 years old can tell him the same sentence and it's gold. So peer mentoring, again, is another opportunity for individuals to be part of the community, build those lasting relationships. Switching gears, we're going to move over towards Dayton to our West Carrollton campus. This campus offers case management, counseling, center-based and after-school programs, adult services, psychiatric services, and transition programs. So the adult services down there work the same as in Worthington. These are center-based services, so they can identify a lot of different goals. They can work in classroom instructions, helping individuals get ready to take those college courses. They can help with volunteerism, get them out, get them volunteering in the community, help build those job skills, move them on to the next level. And we also focus on the soft skills or those adulting skills that maybe sometimes you don't get today if you're not out in the community and actively working on them. So team building, problem solving, social skills, anything else that may help them develop their independence and get ready for their next goal. So two really cool programs I want to talk about in Dayton or West Carrollton are two of our VOC programs. So Spire Arts. So Spire Arts is an art studio where individuals can create their own art, develop job skills, learn different techniques from different instructors, and they do a wide variety of things. They paint, they printmake, they sculpture, they make jewelry, clay, and fiber arts, and they are able to sell and display their work and help develop their craft. So it's a really popular offering. Some of the things that come out of that program are absolutely amazing. And the individuals just love it when they sell anything. Their eyes light up. It's fantastic. And for those of you who have a dog, we also have Pets and People. So one of our programs, the work VOHAB part is actually making our dog treats. So we have 3 different flavors. We have beef, chicken, and cheese. And we've just partnered with Rheingeist Brewery. So we are actually making bottle cap treats out of their spent grains. And if you're ever down towards Cincinnati, Jungle Gyms is now carrying our bottle cap treats right by the beer. So if you go in and pick up a 6-pack for yourself, you could also grab some treats for your dogs. So it's a wonderful program. My dogs love the treats, but it's a great way for individuals to get out there, learn those skills, learn the selling skills, and also, as I told you, a lot of people love dogs, so it's always a good reason for them to interact with dogs that they see in the community. Going up north, our Medina Center, our campus serves psychiatry, counseling, center-based and community-based adult programs, after-school programs, our parent-directed program. We have case management and community behavioral health services. So our parent-directed program is a unique program that was actually grown out of the Franklin County Board of Developmental Disabilities here. This allows families or guardians to actually choose their provider and dictates the hours and terms. So it really empowers the family or the guardian to make sure that the provider that they choose is the one that they want, and the hours and support that they need are within what they are looking for the individual's goals. So it says here we have a little over 1,000 families. I think we're well over 1,500 by this point. This program was privatized in 2012. It's a waiver program, so anyone who has any of the waivers can actually use this. It's also part of Ohio Shared Living. As I said, PDP is an empowerment program for the family and themselves. They're able to choose and monitor the personnel. Boundless will take care of all the training, all the paperwork, all the certification for the family, so that all they need to do is choose their provider. Boundless will train them and then negotiate the hours and pay and approve timesheets. It is a program that I use, so I can say it's been life-changing. For my son, we had the unique situation of we didn't need that many hours. So it was really hard to find a provider to help us. We were actually dropped from 3 different agencies because we didn't need enough time. We just weren't sustainable for them. When we found PDP, that changed everything. We've used the same provider for, I think, 10 years now. He's been with us. We're able to give him the flexibility he needs to do his other jobs, and we are just absolutely thrilled with him. We are actually renaming PDP, and you are actually the first people I'm telling about this. We are going to rebrand this at Boundless at Home. So we're going to actually expand the parent-directed program to include not only shared living, but also remote supports. And parent and guardian supports as well. So really kind of expanding that offer, listening to the families in the programs, listening to what their needs are. We're going to be adding all of that here coming up soon. So that is kind of around the world of Boundless very quickly. Does anybody have any questions? Yes. Oh, absolutely. So I'll talk a little bit about our dental program. So one of the adults that came over to us had been on a waiting list with a Medicare dentist for almost 2 years. So this individual has behavioral challenges. It was really hard finding care for this individual. So Dr. Rahman, who is our dental director, over the course of 3 visits, was able to get his teeth cleaned. And he actually walked in willingly to that 3rd appointment, like he was ready to go. So we see little things like that every day. The dental clinic was phenomenal. I can talk a little bit about, we've also opened up a bakery in Medina as a VOC program as well. So we employ about 8 to 10 bakers. They make cakes, cookies, all of those nostalgic treats that you remember, turnovers and those things. And we've been able to hire a part-time outreach specialist for my team. He moved here from New York. He's exceptionally bright, went to college, really wanted an opportunity to do outreach. He loves to talk. He's got one of the best personalities I've ever seen, but he's in a wheelchair. So he was really having a hard time finding the right fit. So when he came to Boundless, we took him around the bakery. Obviously everything we have is accessible, so it was a really good marriage. So we were able to offer somebody a full part-time employment within our agency to help promote our bakery as well. Yes. So we do refer out for OT and PT. We do work a lot with Columbus Speech and Hearing, as well as Nationwide. Those are our 2 probably biggest partners for those arena. We do not offer music therapy ourselves, but we do have someone that we've referred to in the past as well in Dublin that I can share with you. Look up the contact information. Correct. Yes, so it's definitely something that we are watching. One of the good things about that first slide I showed you with all of the different things that we do is we are not just a Medicaid provider. So we have different funding sources. So our hope is to, continue to utilize the different funding to cover anything that we need to do. But it's definitely something that we're watching very closely, and we're making very prudent decisions about starting anything new at this point until we have a good idea of what the future is going to look like. But we are optimistic. We've always managed ourselves to ensure that we were focusing on sustainability. We tried not to venture into things that weren't sustainable to begin with. So, our hope is that we will be able to keep offering the services that we have, and we will watch the future to ensure that we can continue to, offer what our clients need. But we're watching with everyone else. And we do have an internal group that works with government relations, and we also have a very strong contingency that we call our Boundless Advocates that are doing the letter writing campaigns and really making the appeals to our lawmakers to let them know what these changes will affect and kind of what the cascade and I can say I went and testified at the court, at the State House a couple weeks ago myself to talk about some of the changes that were being suggested to the DSP wages. And DSPs are direct support professionals, and they are the backbone of the work with the people who have special needs. And so I was able to testify and say how critical these people are and, you know, how important their work is. So. Agreed. The, you know, like I said, we do have a government relations team that is working very hard, and Boundless advocates. And, you know, internally, like I said, we've always had our eye on sustainability. So we've always played it, you know, we've always made sure that our choices were very methodical and well thought out, and we're doing the same now. Because if it doesn't affect us directly, it will probably affect one of our partners. Yes. Yes, we do apply for specific grants for programs that we already have. So yes, so there's a lot of different grants that we look for, and we also have a phenomenal philanthropic team that also helps us as well. Sure. So Aetna, I made the specific call out for Ohio Rise because Aetna actually is implementing Ohio Rise for the governor. So they're kind of the entity that we're working with there. But as far as for medical insurance, we work with everyone. We take Medicaid. We work with all the managed care programs. You know, we want to be as accommodating as possible. So yeah, we work with all of them. Anything else? Well, thank you all very much for your time today. I hope your trip around Ohio at Boundless was a good one. And if you have any questions, again, my name's Renee Stein, and thank you so much for coming.